Hello everyone, welcome back to the next lecture. We are going to see in detail the objectives of pricing. In the last lecture we have enlisted it. You have just seen what are those multiple objectives of pricing, because we saw many firms, or rather most of the firms, go ahead with multiple pricing objectives. Not only a single objective, but different objectives are there which are being considered in pricing. So today we will learn all those multiple pricing objectives in detail. We'll give you certain examples also to understand, to make it clear. The very first objectives of pricing, it is target rate of return. See, an adequate return on investment or the capital or the net sales, it is an important pricing objective. Net sales is the total amount you earn after selling and before paying the tax. So that is the actual return, ample return, adequate return on the investment or the capital investment or the net sales. It is the objectives of pricing. Target rate of return. It is to secure a sufficient return on the capital invested after covering the costs of production, the costs of raw material, you can say, the costs involved in the production, you can say, and the distribution. So whatever the cost related to the production and distribution, covering it, whatever sufficient return you try to target on the capital invested, that is target rate of return. So it is definitely to secure a sufficient return on your investment. Okay, let us see the next point in this only. In this, the target rate of return, you will see an estimate is made, approximation is made of what? Of the profits required to earn. So some estimate is determined of what? Of the profit to be gained, to be earned, the expected rate to return over the long run. So whatever the earning of profit, it is being estimated for long term. That is what the target rate of return talks about. Prices are so set, second point I am reading, the prices are so set that the total sales revenue exceeds the total costs by the estimated profit amount. Now what it is talking about, it is very easy. I require certain costs to produce a particular product or services. Now these costs are being overcome. That means more than the costs whatever I have incurred, the extra amount I should be having to get it back by selling my products in the market. That is what the last point talks about. Prices are set such that the total sales revenue, the total income after selling the products, goes beyond the total costs. It should exceed the cost, right? Then only we will say that I am having profit. So that revenue should exceed the total costs by the approximated profit amount. That is what the target rate of return talks about, which is one of the objectives of pricing. As said earlier, I am definitely going to go through one example. You will definitely like to go through it. See, a company has total investment of rupees 25 lakhs. So just consider this. The firm seeks to earn 30% returns on the investment. This is their target. That is why the objective is target rate of return. So the company seeks they should earn 30% on the investment. I have mentioned before tax. Of course, when the tax is not paid. So definitely that return is included with the tax also. The company expects to sell 10,000 units, 10,000 pieces 10,000 number of products and the total cost per unit is rupees 50. So the cost of one product is rupees 50. So we'll go ahead with like how it is they calculate the profit margin, the target rate of return. I hope you have understood this. Again, I'm just enlisting. So total investment is 25 lakhs. The profit they expect is 30%. Then they expect to sell 10,000 units in the market. Per piece cost is rupees 50 rupees. So now what should be the price of selling? The cost price we know, per unit 50 rupees. What will be the selling price? Let us see it. Yeah, this is in front of you. The calculation of per unit cost of an article and then calculating how much amount it should be sold for. See, the cost of 10,000 units is calculated. The cost of one unit we know 50 rupees. I mean, to produce that product, rupees 50 is being invested per unit. So for 10,000 units, 5 lakhs rupees are being required. Then what is the expected return? 30% return on investment. The investment we have seen 25 lakhs rupees. So 30% of it is 7,50,000 rupees. You can just calculate by your own also. So this much amount is being expected after selling a product or after sale of those 10,000 pieces in the market. Of course, this margin is before tax paid. Then the target sales revenue. What is you are expecting the total income will be? So that target sales revenue is 5,000 the cost of producing the products and the expected return. So total together 12,50,000 rupees is. Now how to calculate per piece selling price? So the total target sales revenue is divided and then you are getting it as rupees 125. So the actual selling price of a unit will be rupees 125 because the total number of pieces are 10,000. So the total targeted sales revenue is distributed in 10,000 pieces, is divided by 10,000 pieces, and the selling price, it is on your screen on the right hand side corner below, rupees 125 per piece. See, I'll show you the cost of a piece is rupees 50, whereas the cost of the selling of a unit is rupees 125. I hope you have understood this calculation per unit cost of an article. Target return on the investment is a long-term objective. It ensures a reasonable return to the investors. See, investors, they expect possible fixed return on their investment. Then only they will invest. Otherwise, they will not try to give you the investment as capital. So this target rate of return ensures the investors with reasonable return. The rate of the return can be used to evaluate, to calculate and compare the performance of different product of the firms. Now a firm might not be going ahead with only one product. So several products that firm might be producing. So definitely the rate of return decides on, calculates on, it assesses. It also compares the performance, the enactment of different products of the firm. So in that sense also it is important. These 4 points you should remember. What the target return on the investment is the objective. Does not lead to the public criticism. The target rate of return shows you, or it assures that the public will not be blaming you. Provides a measure of restraint. It provides the measure of limits, controls, and a guideline for judging the improvement in a new product line. So it definitely provides the controlling thing. The limitations, the limits are there shown by the target rate of return and a guideline for judging, for trying the improvement in new product line. This is the second objectives of pricing, that is price stability. In this we will find a firm seeks to cut or eliminate cyclic price. Cyclical price is recurring price. So it tries to eliminate the cyclical price fluctuations. Now what are fluctuations? I have mentioned over there the meaning: instabilities, ups and downs, and to avoid price wars. So the price stability ensures that a firm looks for to cut the price fluctuations. That means to keep the price of their product stable. So more and more customers can be attracted towards your product. Like frequent change in price definitely diverts the attention of the prospective consumers. Consumers may think that this particular product, the company keeps on changing the prices, so we will see the alternative product which is having stable price. So this should be ensured, and to avoid price wars. Of course, price stability is for the sake of avoiding price wars also with the competitors, with the associates. The aim of the price stability is to live and let live. Means let the competitors also do their businesses. Let the competitors also survive in the market, whatever their price, whatever their market share might be in the market existing, with earning, with revenue, with profit. So the aim is to live and let live. Let us do the business nicely by earning profit, and let the other people, the competitors, the associates also do the business for the sake of earning profit. This is what price stability. In an oligopolistic situation, you must be thinking, what is this oligopolistic? So the underlined sentence talks about it. Where one firm is very big and all the other firms are small. This situation is called as oligopolistic situation. A firm is bigger and the other firms are smaller. So the big firm acts as the price leader and the other firms follow it. It means what? The firm which is bigger in the structure, in the size, okay? So whatever price is decided by it, definitely the other firms also follow it. So this is oligopolistic situation. Price stability helps in planned and regular production in the long run. When your prices are stable, even if the raw materials cost goes down, in that case also, if you consider the price is stable in the market, so you are earning more. I hope you are getting me what I am explaining. When price stability is there, but the cost of your product producing is reduced because the raw materials cost is reduced, still your prices are stable in the market, so it will be helping you in long term run. Okay, that is what about price stability objectives, one of the objectives of pricing. In order to avoid fluctuations in prices, they may even forego maximizing profits during the period of limited supply or prosperity or richness. See, to avoid the fluctuations in prices, to avoid ups and downs in the prices, the firms may they may sacrifice increasing the profit, maximizing the profit during the period of scarce supply or prosperity, when they are not that rich, when they are not, selling more products, the period of scarce, okay, limited supply is there in the market, so earning is also limited, still they will try to keep the prices stable, okay. However, the price stability may create rigidity in pricing in long run. This is to be noted, very important point. when price stability is there, it might lead to the inflexibility in the pricing in long run. Let us see the next objectives of pricing. Market share. It is the sales of the firm, any firm, compared to the other associates of the competitors in the market. That is what the market share. I think I have told you in the previous lecture. Suppose 100 pieces of a particular product are sold in the market. Out of that, your firm is selling 30 pieces. So that is called as your market share. So out of each 100 products in similar line which are being sold in the market, 30 pieces you are selling. Market share is a very meaningful mark for measuring the market position or success. When the market has a potential, it has capacity, of course in the near future, for growth over earning, a reasonable return on investment may be declining if its market share is maintained. Now see, there is a chance in the future to grow earning. A reasonable return on the investment may be declining. You will find the reasonable return is going down. How it is? If its market share is maintained. If you are selling right from last 3 years or 4 years a particular mark, you are selling 1000 pieces every year, and right now also you are going ahead with 1000 pieces only, where there is chance of growth, there is more potential in the market, but you are selling the 1000 pieces only. So definitely your return is declining, don't you think? As the potential is overlooked for increasing the volume of sales. That means you have not taken care, your firm is not taking care to increase the sale, to increase the production. I hope you have understood the second point. This is somehow complex. I will again explain you. When there is, the market has potential in coming 1 year or 6 months, there is a chance of growth, of profit, reasonable return on the investment. But if you are going ahead with the same market share, you are not increasing, you are not putting any efforts to increase the market share, so your profit might be declining. That is what I have mentioned. So we need to not to overlook the increase in volume of sales, but we have to see that how you will increase the volume of sales in the potential market. So that is what I was talking about. Maintaining or improving the market share, increasing the market share rather, is a more worthwhile objective in growing markets. If the market is growing, means if the demand is increasing, definitely a firm should take care of increasing its sales volume by putting more marketing efforts, strategies, applying the marketing strategies in the market to get more profit. These pricing objectives of market share is followed by operating in an expanding market. It is being active in an expanding market. So that is what these objectives talk about. When the market is growing, try to put as much effort as to capture more market share. For example, firms manufacturing domestic appliances like refrigerators, washing machines, etc., they reduce prices to capture a large share of the growing demand in the market. Means what they do? They give away some kind of offers. They try to go ahead with, reducing the prices. Somehow, cash discount they are going to offer. So, as to capture larger share in the growing market. Usually this happens in festival time. I will tell you how the growth is seen in the market. Festive time, Diwali time, then Dussehra time, Padwa time, Christmas, Eid. These are few festivals in India celebrated when the tendency of people is to buy new thing. So that time the market is growing. And if you take a chance, if you try to reduce the prices, not as much, but little bit, still you can capture the market. So that is what the market share talks about. The next objectives of pricing is meet or prevent competition. In a market featured by aggressive competition, which is known as cutthroat competition, yes, I mean people are not cutting throat of each others, but that is aggressive competition. I mean tough fight in competition. The firms often take pricing decisions to meet or to prevent competition. So this is that one of the multiple pricing objectives. Established firms may cut prices drastically. Drastically means one can see easily that the prices are gone down, lowered. So sudden, drastic change to prevent new competitors from entering the market. For this point, I have a very good example when there was the readiness of launching nano car by Tata's. That time, all the other companies, including Maruti, they lowered the prices of their cars. Why? Because there was the time of entry of a new competitor, that was Tata. It was to be launched. The Nano used to be, it was to be launched. That preparation was going on, and the defined price of Tata's Nano car, that time, launching time was 1 lakh rupees. So suddenly, drastically, see the underlined sentence, established firms, the Maruti Suzuki, they tried to cut drastically their prices. It has happened that time. You may talk to your parents, they must be knowing about it. This is what the second point talks about, meet or prevent competition. Also to fight, the competition exists in the market. So the objective of pricing, that is meet or prevent competition, it is for fighting the competition which is existing in the market. At the time of launching new product also, this objective might be adopted to meet the competition. So that was what, again the same example, Tata's, they wanted to launch the vehicle, new product, nano car, and they kept the price very, very low to meet the competition. This is also to be understood that in long run, any firm cannot survive by charging less than the total cost of the product. This is very important. That's why underlined. Firm cannot survive, cannot remain, cannot stay in the market for long term by charging less than the total cost. Means whatever the cost of your product is there, we have seen the calculation, how the cost is calculated by adding the expected return and all those things, okay? And if you are going ahead with, lower prices, you cannot survive. It will hamper that you may go through severe losses. So this is to be understood, kept in mind. The next objectives, one of the multiple objectives of pricing, profit maximization. The firms pursuing this objective try to earn as much money as possible. Yeah, they try to go ahead with maximum profit making. Small and little known firms may try to charge as much price as the customer can bear. So, due to high profits, new entrepreneurs will be attracted into the industry and the prices will come down in the long run. This is what I will explain you again. That's why I have underlined prices will come down in the long run. When high profits are made, new entrepreneurs are being attracted. New entrepreneurs like Nitin sir, you can say, they are being attracted. They think that let us start the industry, let us start the business because we can earn high profits. Okay, so many entrepreneurs may come in this particular market, and in long run the prices will come down. Why? There will be competition amongst them. There will be so many other aspects. More production will be there than the demand. So it might lead to the, lowering down the prices. That is what it talks about, the last point. We have seen two concepts of marketing, traditional and modern marketing. In the traditional market, profit maximization was considered as the objectives of pricing. Still, it may not be a pragmatic thing, a practical thing, reasonable objective due to severe competition and growing focus on social obligations, responsibilities of business firms. Students, please pay attention. See, profit maximization was considered as objectives of pricing traditional market, traditional concept of marketing, where the seller oriented market exists. They sell the product, that's it. Marketing is over. Nowadays, is it possible? No, not at all. Practically, it is not possible in modern marketing. So, the last point talks about it may not be a practical or reasonable objective due to the severe competition, cutthroat competition, aggressive competition, and the growing focus of social obligations. There are social responsibilities. Any firm has to go ahead with the particular responsibilities because they exist in the society. That's why profit maximization, it cannot be practical. So please remember this. Dear all, we come to an end of our topic, that was objectives of pricing. We saw the very first objective, one of the multiple objective, that is target rate of return on the investment or capital. Second was price stability. Then the market share, then meet or prevent competition, and the fifth one we saw just now, the profit maximization. So these were all the objectives of pricing. And also here we finish up with our second lesson, that was marketing and sales. I hope you have understood it. If not, please go through all the parts of these PPTs or either videos. Try to understand those concepts and try to ask me if you are not getting it. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.